We don't think about it that way, right? Like I'm not going in and looking at it and going, hey, how do I get these guys a good score? Not yet. We're working on that, right? But right now we're looking at how do we get them more new patients?
And if you're not there, then they don't go to your website. It's pretty simple. If you're there and you're there more often, and if you're higher up, then the traffic comes to your website. And then that's where a marketing company like you takes over and tracks them, makes sure and converts them, etc. Being able to allocate resources in a very smart way without having to dig into the data, just looking and knowing where to go, that's priceless. That's how you can increase revenue by not spending as much.
Welcome to another episode of Dental Marketing Theory. I'm your host, Gary Bird. I am the founder of SMC National, where we help you create, convert, and close more new patients so you can grow the way that you want. And today I got the opportunity to speak to Eileen, who is the Vice President of Business Development at DMscore. And we are going to talk about some really cool stuff. She's going to share with you how she compares the FICO score to DMscore for the dental industry. You're going to want to know what that means. And then also she has a group that she's starting that's giving clarity to groups to help them understand where to access vendors and who's the best in the vendor spaces. And so you're going to want to understand that if you are a dental office or a dental group. And you're also going to want to understand it if you're a vendor itself. This is going to be a group that you're going to want to be a part of. Stay tuned. All right, Eileen. So why don't you tell me how you got into the dental industry?
Well, it was quite by accident. So I was in the automotive industry and I've been in the marketing field for 20 years, right? And I come from a digital transformation type of background when it comes to digital marketing. So a lot of technology involved in there. And I saw this particular position and it was everything that I love, right? It was sales, it was marketing, it was digital, it was technology, and it was new, but it was a different industry. So I said, okay, let's try it, and came into dental, and looks like I'm probably here to stay too.
Yeah, so it's so funny. So I interview people all the time in the dental industry, like 5-6 interviews a week, and I ask everybody, how did you get in the dental industry? Doctors and hygienists, they're very purposeful. Everybody else is here by accident. So I find that fascinating that everybody's like, yeah, I kind of stumbled into the dental industry. And you know what? I actually used to I used to do a lot of work in the automotive marketing world as well. That is a uber competitive, uber hard business.
Yes, it is. But you probably see the parallels in the industries, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, financing. Yeah, consolidation. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the technology boom as well, and tech stack, digital transformation. So many parallels. And it was like, wow, I stepped into a mirror of, 10, 15 years ago that I experienced. So it was it's really been cool.
That's what I was just going to say is like, yeah, the dental industry is just a little bit behind the automotive industry, or maybe a couple decades behind, but still it's definitely happening. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing at DMscore, and why did you want to move from automotive marketing over to dental and what you're doing now?
So again, I really have a love for technology, and digital marketing is really just ingrained in me at this point. And, it was the intersection of those, and then the people. And that's literally what makes up digital transformation is people, processes, technology. And so it was just literally right at my alley, checked all the boxes. And so I said, yeah, let's try it. And it's just been uphill ever since.
Sorry to disrupt the show, but I got something crazy to share with you. We are attempting to connect with all of our listeners. We have thousands of people that listen to this podcast, and we want to meet you in person. We have 4 events coming up, and I want to give you a discount code that you can use for the next week to save $300 off your ticket. The discount code is Gary Bird, and the link is going to be just down below. You can also go to smcnational.com/events. I hope to connect with you in person and help each other grow our businesses. Can't wait to see you soon. So what do you guys do at DMscore? Like what attracted you to DMscore?
So what I like about DMscore is that it's new, and it's from the makers of the FICO score, right? So they are the founders of the company. And if you remember, you may or may not remember, but there was a day where there wasn't a FICO score. So there was no standardization when it came to credit, consumer credit worthiness, right? There was no standardization. You went and tried to buy a house or a car, and everybody's process was different in establishing if you were creditworthy or not. along came the FICO score, and then there was standardization both on the lender side and on the consumer side. And consumers could finally see very quickly, very easily, a very complicated thing, which is credit, and where it all pushes in to show whether you are credit worthy in one number, right? And if you wanted to drill down into where you could make your number higher, there were categories that you could go and drill down into. So what FICO did for that industry, that's what DMscore is going to be doing for digital marketing. You of all people know how complicated digital marketing can be. Everyone has a different measuring stick. There are so many tools out there. Reporting can just be, get you in the weeds, and nothing really gives you like a 50,000 level a bird's eye view of your digital marketing visibility. So what was your credit score is now your digital marketing score. And it breaks down into the three main categories that the search engines that drive traffic to your website, which are Google, as we all know, which comprised SEO and PPC. And then there's directories, which is made up in large part by Google Maps and Yelp. And in this case, ZocDoc, that has a lot to puts a lot into it as well. So those are the main categories driving the traffic. So that's what we measure.
Got
and
it.
then we
And
bubble
so
it up into a score.
perfect. Yeah. And you and I were talking. So you've been trying to like educate me so I understand what you guys offer. And you guys were showing us some of our clients. And they had a pretty good score. So you're looking now, we don't think about it that way, right? Like I'm not going in and looking at it and going, hey, how do I get these guys a good score? Not yet. We're working on that, right? But right now we're looking at how do we get them more new patients? And
Right.
so what's the core? Help me paint the correlation from, okay, we got this DM score and new patients. Where do you guys start and end? And I know you guys don't, promise new patients or anything like that, but I think you're kind of the beginning of being visible so you can get more new patients.
Exactly. And you just named the correlation. When you're visible, people are going to see you when they search dentist near me, and all of the terms that are underneath that, whether it's a specialty or a general dentist, they all search very similar terms. And if you're not there, then they don't go to your website. It's pretty simple. If you're there and you're there more often, and if you're higher up, then the traffic comes to your website. And then that's where a marketing company like you takes over and tracks them, makes sure and converts them, etc. So when it comes to your score, it's more about your ranking. It's not always about your score. So let's say, for example, Gary Bird Dentistry has a 68 DM score that is better than everyone in his Google city. Right? If it's a 68 and it's better, then you're going to rank above them. But if they are in the 70s, then they're going to rank above you. So it is about the score, but it's more about the ranking. If you rank higher than your competitors. So what DMscore shows you, and that's what's critical, is that you see your competitors too. Otherwise, you don't know how to measure, and you can't manage what you can't measure, right? So
because in theory, you could have a 0 DM score and still be doing well because if you're the only dentist in town. So let's say there's a town out there that only has one dentist, has 50,000 people, and you're the only one there. So you can have a low DM score. You're still going to get new patients. But if you're in that same town and now you have 100 dentists and you have the lowest DM score, now everything changes, right? Like because the other people are working on their visibility. One of the things that comes to my mind, and I just want to throw it out there because I'm interested in your feedback on it, how you guys think through it. So in my mind, the first place I go is like, great, you got your DM score up, but you don't answer the phones, right? Or all the operational. So you can have the perfect DM score, the perfect marketing, the perfect, you're dominating everybody in the market. But if you have the industry average is 35% unanswered rate. The average person converts about 50% of the leads that come through the phone from marketing. That means you're losing the vast majority of your marketing before you even get to having them in the office. How do you guys kind of look at that and think through that side of it?
That's what I love about the enterprise aspect of DMscore, Because if you've got, 5 locations, 10 locations, using all those tools that you use to measure, digital marketing visibility are going to be overwhelming. So a lot of times DSOs, they don't have time or resources to allocate to really digging into that for that many locations, especially as they're acquiring, right? So what DMscore does is, and I'll even use the example of you, some clients that I looked up for you, they were ranking number 1, number 2 consistently in the cities that they're in. So that would tell you that, hey, let's look at if we're still kind of, bleeding and we need to increase our margins. We don't need to work on your rankings. You're good. You're number 1. You're number 2.
So you
So
can
now
help
let's
people.
look.
Yeah. Okay. So you can help people. I totally get it now. So you can come in. So if someone's like, man, I don't know what's going on, we can't grow. And they come to you, they put in DMscore, and let's say they're doing great, but they're not
Right.
growing the way that they want. Then that points you to there's something else going on. There's something operationally. There's something where maybe it's as simple as the online scheduler is not accurate, right? Or whatever it may be. And then they can kind of work through that, right? Does that sound about right?
That's how the data works together, because that's just one of the things that I really see as missing in this industry is data working together, kind of passing the baton, where we bring in that initial data, here's your visibility, then somebody else takes that data and does something with it. And that's how you allocate the resources, and you know what to do, instead of just having someone work on all 10 locations doing all the same thing across the board. And that's just not a really, that's just not a time or cost efficient way of measuring digital marketing. So what the DM scores can do is, okay, here are your top ones. If they're still having problems and not growing, then we can look at the chat, the online scheduling, the follow-up, everything that comes after that. Whereas the ones that are doing, not as well and ranking 4, 5, 6, we know where their problems are, because DMscore is going to break that down into those 3 categories. And then they can have you allocate your resources to fixing those 3 worst ones when it comes to their scores. And then you can work on chat or online scheduling or pinpointing what that problem is on the ones that are doing really well. So you're just being smart about allocating resources. And if there's anything that this industry needs, it's the 3 T's to me: trust, time, and technology.
Yeah.
That's what you hear constantly is we need trust. We need to trust our data. We need to trust our people. We need to trust our employers. We need to trust our vendors. Trust is constant. You were just talking about it on the podcast with Dr. Jan, I believe, yesterday.
Yeah.
Time. Nobody has enough time. Everybody's spread thin. There's a labor shortage. So being able to allocate resources in a very smart way without having to dig into the data, just looking and knowing where to go, that's priceless. That's how you can increase revenue, by not spending as much. And then, of course, using the technology that's out there. It's a new technology. So we want people to get in and use it and show how it's like the beginning. It's the beginning of that journey of helping these practices increase their revenue, whether it's increase their top line or increase their bottom line, which it does both, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what their scores are and what their rankings are.
Awesome. And then how does this play into DVIN that you're building?
Yeah. So again, coming into this industry, I noticed things, right? In digital marketing, you have to be able to recognize trends. Your brain just works that way. So when I came into this industry, I noticed something that was missing. So selling to DSOs is different. I had sold, like I said, in automotive to large groups, but they were already established. The consolidation had happened, right? So it wasn't as much, there were different pain points. But what I saw as a pain point is that there was literally no place that a DSO had to go to find their vendors. And there was no place for vendors to collaborate, because again, the importance of vendors collaborating with the data, with the technology, with the integrations, et cetera, it's really important. And I saw that as an absence. So what I did was I just created, it's called DSO Vendor Insights Network. It's just a community of vendors that sell to DSOs that we meet weekly. And we discuss different topics related to selling to DSOs, and we share insights with one another. So we're really kind of building a tribe here. It started out as a small group and it's grown into something much bigger that's now addressing a real pain point in the industry that I noticed, that DSOs don't know what options they have for technology, products, services. It's
Well, I'm excited because I'm going to be joining the call today. So when you guys launched it, it just was over the top of other meetings at the time that it was at. But this one I'm going to be able to join. So I'm really excited
we
to
are
jump
excited.
on my
We have
first
a
call.
Slack channel and everything. And we're building a website actually that's going to feature an infographic of all the vendors in the dental industry by category. So it's going to give DSOs a centralized and easy to use resource for discovering new vendors.
That's so cool. I love stuff like that. So genius.
Right, exactly. So, we just really, the ultimate goal is to change the industry by fostering the collaboration and innovation among vendors and DSOs and to bridge that gap between them. So that's why I created it.
Awesome. And how can people access that? Because the people that are going to be listening to this are either one, they're the groups that are like, hey, I need access to that list that you have, or two, how do I want to go join this group to make sure I'm on that list. So how do people reach out to you about that?
Yeah, so believe it or not, I'm looking for vendors too, which is unusual, right? So if you're a vendor, you can DM me because our page it's a private page, and then we have a private Slack group, and we meet every week and on Zoom. So I kind of send that to all the vendors, in the background. So that page isn't public. So I have to literally send you an invite to the private LinkedIn page. But the DVIN public page for DSOs, it's up. There's no content on it yet because we're ramping up, but we're going to start building out content. The website's set to go live in July. But we've already bought the URL and it's dsovin.com.
That's awesome.
So we're excited.
Great. Any parting last words for the audience before we part ways? Do you feel we covered everything, or is there anything we forgot?
Well, one of the things that that we've discovered again by meeting with the DVIN group is some of the things that the DSOs are asking for. We want to deliver not only with DVIN, but with DMscore, we're able to address some of that. Right, we are a new technology, and DSOs are asking for that. But they need the trust in that technology, right? It's new, so they don't know us. So we have a pilot program that is just minimal commitment. It's 90 days instead of a year, right? Get in, try it. It's at 50% of the normal cost, and then you're grandfathered in. So if anybody wants to try out the product and, work with their marketing company to align the scores like we're doing with you guys, I think that's the smartest way to build that trust, save your time, and use new technology. So that's what I would say. If you guys are interested in a pilot program, we've got it for you.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I learned something. I'm excited about these groups that you're building. I think that's going to be impactful to the dental industry, and I'm excited to see where DMscore grows and what it turns into. I can see already the direction you guys are going, and it's going to be exciting to see you build out. And I must say, I'm very, very impressed how quickly you've moved inside the dental industry. I know you've just joined DM 6 months ago, but how fast you've been able to get up to speed on the dental industry and make connections. It's been very impressive.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun. And when I do something that's fun, I do it with, I do it at, 100% and don't slow down like you and I are a lot alike that way.
That's why I can see it. And I'm like, man, that's exciting. She would be fun to work with. So awesome. I'll see you later today. And I look forward to being a part of that DVIN group today.
Okay, Gary. Thank you so much for having me on. I'll see you in a little bit.